Guys, sorry, Dave Jones, we lost track of him. I don't know where he is right now.
He got lost somewhere on his way up.
It's just going to be Johnny and I for this post-game video. I just want to say real quick, James Franklin, that sandbagger, switched up the blue-white rosters. Maybe he was listening.
Maybe he was
to our
listening.
podcast.
Maybe he knew.
He rigged the white team to win this. It's traditionally a blue-dominated game. Flipped the script, and once we saw that, I mean, we knew who was going to win the game.
Yeah.
The question is, there's a couple things we can get to. Johnny, just your thoughts on a very, very, I don't know what the word is.
Blustery? We can say that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a blue-white game. There was a handful of starters who didn't play. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Tyler Warren, a lot of contributors, a lot of starters for next year's team that were either, kind of bumps and bruises throughout spring ball or just, hey, let's put them in bubble wrap and make sure they don't get hurt.
Sure.
So a lot of contributors that the fans here in Beaver Stadium did not see on the field, but who they did see was A.J. Harris. They saw Cam Wallace and Quentin Martin. Cooper Cousins was out there with the white team offensive line, which seemed to be like you said, the stronger of the teams out there. So Quentin Martin with a couple touchdowns, the freshman running back from Belle Vernon.
Very efficient.
Very efficient. Two carries, 2 tutties. A.J. Harris with, I believe, a game-high 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a pass breakup.
Do you think he was expecting that big of a role in the blue-white game? I'm not sure that he was.
I don't know. He might have been. He was talking last week when we talked to him. He was excited to get out there on the field and show what he can do, and I think he's going to be providing some big things for this team in the fall, Bob. So, just a little bit of a glimpse of what's to come maybe for some of these younger or newer guys in the program.
Yeah, so this video obviously is going to be a little bit dated, but we have to get to at least one question, because it's been speculated, and I think you and I kind of both know where it's going. But KeAndre Lambert-Smith, the leading receiver on last year's team, although he disappeared down the stretch, hasn't really been seen a lot lately in State College. He wasn't here today. He wasn't in uniform. James was asked about him, and he said, "I'll be happy to talk about the guys who played in the game." The transfer portal is set to open in a couple of days. Johnny, just kind of your thoughts where this is heading. Again, this could be dated information, but this is the update we got.
Yeah, I mean, fully expect KeAndre Lambert-Smith really to not be. I would be surprised if KeAndre Lambert-Smith is with the team beyond this week, even into, certainly into the season next year. It might be a situation where he finishes up classes here in the spring semester, enters his name in the portal, picks where he's going to go. But that's kind of the direction where we think this is going. He was absent at practice this week during the media viewing window, absent completely today from Beaver Stadium. Even the guys who didn't play in the game, they were on the sidelines in street clothes hanging out. He wasn't around. He might have been up here in the stands for all we know, but no sign of KeAndre Lambert-Smith. James didn't want to talk about him after the game, like you mentioned, Bob, saying that I'll focus on the guys who are here and in our locker room. There was a report at the end of this week that was basically, hey, we strongly considering entering the portal, and that he's not with the team this week. So that's kind of the direction that I feel like this is going to go. But in his absence here today, we saw Harrison Wallace have 5 catches for 72 yards.
Drew a PI.
Drew a PI, had a drop as well in the end zone. Caden Saunders had a drop, but also had a 30-yard gain. Amari Evans with a 20-yard gain. Julian Fleming on the blue team with the quarterback situation not as great without Drew Aller there. So he didn't have a standout performance by any means, but would highly expect him to do so when the fall comes around and be a big piece of this offense. So. Interested to see if KeAndre Lambert-Smith enters the portal, if Penn State will enter the portal themselves and bring in a potential contributor at wide receiver. We'll have to see how these next few weeks go, Bob. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks.
Johnny, I finally figured out the word I was trying to use about the weather. It was brisk. I was going to go with brisk. I think that might be an understatement.
Brisk is an understatement.
A little bit of an understatement.
My hat's almost flown off 4 times.
I'm going to stay committed to brisk. Just a couple of notes. I had a chance to talk to Tony Rojas, who... I mean, he was a starter. The white team was the team that was loaded. He was out there a lot with Kobe King. Saw a lot of nickel and extra DB sets. John, I'm just going to tell you this, and fans, don't necessarily trust the listed heights and weights of the Penn State roster. I asked Tony about, are you ever going to tell us the secret of how you gained all that weight last year to get ready to play? He's like, yeah. Then he said, he's listed at 225. He said he's at 238 right now. So he's a big boy, and he is ready for prime time. I'm just not taking these listed weights seriously anymore. That's just a vet. But Tony Rojas, is going to be a problem this year. I'm looking forward to seeing Kevin Winston. What I wanted to just end this with you, Johnny, is the transfer portal's coming. You just mentioned the wideouts, Harrison Wallace, obviously Julian Fleming. KLS, a little bit doubtful, I think, for 2024. If nothing happens in the portal, how good do you feel about this wideout group? Forget about August, in the fall. I'll tell you how I feel about it. You could start.
I feel great about Tyler Warren. And I feel great
played.
I feel great about this running game and how Andy Kotelnicki in the past, especially at Buffalo and at Kansas, has schemed up the running game and has multiple 1,000-yard rushers in seasons before. That's my take on it, Bob, because, I think you mentioned KeAndre Lambert-Smith disappearing down the stretch last year, had 2 catches in the final 4 games, dropped his only target in the Peach Bowl. Didn't want to talk to me after the Peach Bowl. I guess I understand why. If your role has been diminished and you might have 1 foot out the door, and there goes my hat.
This is all part of like the video. This is like a Dave Jones move right now. I already love it. Keep going.
Love it. Yeah, no, look, I don't feel great about the wide receivers, but there's still time. There's still room to grow, especially with Julian Fleming getting embedded and acclimated to Penn State and this offense in particular. Yep. So we'll see. It's a waiting game.
I do love the Kotelnicki angle. I do think that's going to help. But I will say this: if the wideout room looks a lot like the wideout room we saw out here today, maybe with a bigger role for Julian Fleming, I have a lot of concerns about the fall because I just don't think this wideout room right now, and what we saw again, is going to scare many teams. I hope I'm wrong. I didn't see it, and Tyler Warren can only do so much.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Look, Bob, we're done spring. Spring ball is done. A blustery day.
I'm still going to stick with Brisk.
I'm
going down with the ship.
You just saw my hat blow off.
It's like 31 degrees out. I'm going with Brisk.
Come on now. No. It's a productive spring for Penn State. Yeah. Productive spring for us, Bob. We head into the summer, a lot to cover with the portal coming up, and recruiting and everything else. So make sure to stay tuned with Penn Live as we continue to produce content from this game and the weeks, the very eventful weeks moving forward.